In the meantime, let's go back to New York City. Want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Sean Diddy Combs.
Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
Seeing Diddy Combs, once celebrated as a symbol of luxury, power, and success, now faces an unimaginable fall from grace. Known for his chart-topping hits and status as an entertainment mogul, Diddy spent decades building an image of untouchable dominance and opulence. However, as the new year unfolds, he finds himself in a starkly different reality, confined behind the cold, unyielding bars of the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. Transitioning from a life of private jets, designer suits, and exclusive A-list parties to one of steel bunks, harsh fluorescent lights, and strict institutional rules has proven to be an immense challenge.
So the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs, this one has so many people talking, the disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment, as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
Diddy's adjustment to life behind bars has been nothing short of grueling, marked not only by physical discomfort, but also by a deep psychological toll. Sources close to the situation reveal that the music mogul is struggling to reconcile his current reality with the life of luxury and independence he once enjoyed. Accustomed to living on his own terms, he now faces the stark rigidity of having every aspect of his day dictated by others, a shift that insiders describe as profoundly jarring. A source familiar with the case shared, the loss of control is hitting him hard, and it shows. At recent court appearances, Diddy's transformation has been striking, his once commanding presence replaced by a thinner, grayer figure, a far cry from the charismatic icon who once dominated red carpets and boardrooms.
Yeah, but so there's still, I mean, it's crazy too because there's still more happening in court. Like, I mean, everything is still active even though we're not hearing about it as much anymore. And the people may be fatigued like we talked about prior.
Diddy's gone appearance has fueled widespread speculation, with many questioning whether the stress of his situation is taking a toll on his health. Reports suggest he has refused to eat meals provided at the Metropolitan Detention Center, allegedly out of safety concerns. A prison consultant familiar with his case revealed that Diddy may fear his food could be tampered with, a plausible worry given his high-profile status and the enemies he might have made over the years. It's not unfounded to think someone with outside connections could bribe a prison worker to tamper with his meals, the consultant explained. As a result, Diddy is reportedly relying on commissary items like chips and prepackaged snacks, a far cry from the gourmet fare he once enjoyed.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again. Back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes,
new.
There already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
Diddy's gone appearance has fueled widespread speculation, with many questioning whether the stress of his situation is taking a toll on his health. Reports suggest he has refused to eat meals provided at the Metropolitan Detention Center, allegedly out of safety concerns. A prison consultant familiar with his case revealed that Diddy may fear his food could be tampered with, a plausible worry given his high-profile status and the enemies he might have made over the years. It's not unfounded to think someone with outside connections could bribe a prison worker to tamper with his meals, the consultant explained. As a result, Diddy is reportedly relying on commissary items like chips and prepackaged snacks, a far cry from the gourmet fare he once enjoyed.
Sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotape.
Diddy's incarceration is sending shockwaves beyond the detention center, deeply affecting his family. During a recent court hearing, he was seen mouthing the words, "You okay?" to one of his sons in the gallery, a poignant display of vulnerability from a man who once epitomized strength and control. For his children, who were raised in the lap of luxury, witnessing their father in a prison jumpsuit is a sobering reality, underscoring how quickly life can take an unexpected and devastating turn.
Fact occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in this conduct and being in those spaces, consuming alcohol and things of that nature.
While Diddy's family may be standing by him, the court of public opinion remains divided. His arrest and the serious charges against him, ranging from coercion to organized misconduct, have sparked intense debate. Some continue to defend the mogul, while others condemn him, leaving even his most loyal fans questioning how well they truly know the man behind the music. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal team has been working relentlessly to secure his release, proposing multi-million-dollar bail packages and house arrest alternatives, all of which have been denied. The court, citing concerns over potential witness tampering and flight risk, has firmly ruled that he will remain in custody until his trial in May. This denial has reportedly deepened Diddy's frustration, with insiders describing moments of emotional outbursts, including an incident where he allegedly pleaded with guards to take him to the prison hospital, claiming he was on the verge of a breakdown. Although his legal team has downplayed these reports, attributing them to the natural stress of his circumstances, rumors about his mental state continue to swirl, further fueling speculation.
Not buying it all, Kana, and safety can mean a couple different things. Safety just doesn't mean free from harm of violence. Safety can also too means emotional and mental dynamics that could occur by Sean Combs reaching out to potential witness to get them to possibly change their testimony.
Diddy's public image, long a symbol of ambition and success, may be his heaviest burden yet. More than just a musician or businessman, he has cultivated a personal brand synonymous with power and achievement. Now that carefully built image is under siege, tarnished by his arrest and the ensuing controversy. His lawyers have accused prosecutors of orchestrating a smear campaign, pointing to leaked videos and strategically timed media reports as attempts to sway public opinion. Regardless of the validity of these claims, it's evident that the tide of public perception has turned sharply against him. Adding to his challenges are the harsh conditions at the Metropolitan Detention Center, notorious for overcrowding, unsanitary facilities, and a lack of basic amenities. Former inmates and legal experts have labeled the facility hell on earth, and Diddy's reported placement in the special housing unit only amplifies the strain. A prison consultant described the stark reality of his confinement. An 8x10 cell with a steel bed, a thin mattress, no pillow, and nothing to occupy your mind. It's just you and your thoughts. For someone accustomed to a life of luxury, the adjustment has been particularly grueling. Yet, despite these daunting circumstances, those close to Diddy maintain that he is channeling his energy into his defense. He is said to be spending his days working out, meditating, and meticulously reviewing legal documents in preparation for his trial. His legal team remains optimistic, arguing that the evidence against him is largely circumstantial. However, with each passing day, the mounting pressure and the cracks in his once unshakable facade are becoming increasingly difficult to ignore.
Everyone keeps saying to me, like, how did you keep, why did you keep going? Why were you there? I'm like, it literally is around me. If I don't stay at home, this is the atmosphere I'm in. Like, I have no choice.
Within the cold, unyielding walls of the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, the unfolding drama surrounding scene Diddy Combs is anything but still. Once the undisputed king of hip-hop and an icon of luxury, Diddy now faces a starkly different reality, far removed from his life of extravagance. The man known for his tailored suits, private jets, and exclusive parties is now grappling with the grim conditions of one of the nation's most infamous detention centers. As his legal troubles intensify, the rumors about his behavior behind bars have become an equally compelling narrative.
And he is very, very dominant. Like, he wants to control the situation. He wants to control his inner circle. He wants to make everyone have a good time and enjoy his parties. And so, it is scary because you think, this person or possibly his social network or the people he's around could make or break your career.
Insider reports paint a grim portrait of Diddy, a man struggling to adapt to a world stripped of luxury, privilege, and escape. Once at the helm of a vast empire, he is now confined to a small cell that feels more like a punishment than a temporary setback. The Metropolitan Detention Center's reputation for overcrowding, poor conditions, and an atmosphere rife with tension and violence only adds to the challenge. Former inmates have described the facility as hell on earth, and by all indications, Diddy is no exception to the harsh realities of this unforgiving environment.
You know, if you say the wrong thing or you complain or you know, I don't know, there's an element where you're just, I guess manipulated in a way to make you feel like, oh, you have to please everyone around you. You can't say anything wrong. You don't want to say a bad thing. Or, you know, when they're constantly asking you, would you like to do and you're like, well, I don't do and they're like, well, why don't you do?
The psychological toll of Diddy's incarceration may be the most compelling aspect of his current ordeal. Sources close to him reveal that the stress of his legal battles, compounded by the isolation of his environment, is pushing him to his breaking point. Rumors of vulnerability have emerged, including an alleged incident where he reportedly begged to be taken to the prison hospital, fearing a mental collapse. While his legal team has dismissed these claims as part of the natural adjustment to challenging circumstances, the cracks in his once unshakable facade are becoming increasingly apparent. Adding to the intrigue are reports of Diddy refusing to eat standard prison meals, a decision steeped in paranoia over potential food tampering. A prison consultant familiar with the facility suggested his concerns aren't unfounded. For someone in his position, caution is understandable. He's made plenty of enemies, and the possibility of harm through his food is not far-fetched. As a result, Diddy has been relying on commissary snacks, a stark contrast to the gourmet meals that once defined his lavish lifestyle.
He was using, allegedly, these events to invite them back to these private mansion parties and hotel parties and God knows what else. But he was utilizing the branded events to be able to, you know, get the girls to come over to his private spaces.
Diddy's concerns for his safety extend far beyond his food. His placement in the special housing unit, designed for inmates needing heightened protection, underscores the perceived dangers he faces. While isolation offers some protection from potential threats, it also magnifies the mental strain. The endless monotony of days blending into nights, with little to distract him, is a sharp contrast to the dynamic social world he once inhabited. For someone accustomed to being surrounded by people, the loneliness must be especially crushing, highlighting just how drastically his life has changed in a few short months.
There is so many people involved in this situation that works the machine here, that, you know, Diddy's obviously the head of the whole situation. You know, the king of parties, but there is multiple other people involved that are helping along the situation or, you know, participating in.
Diddy's legal team faces a daunting challenge in their efforts to secure his release, but the courts have thus far remained steadfast in denying his bail requests. The charges against him are serious, with prosecutors painting a picture of a man who not only presents a flight risk, but could also influence witnesses if given the chance. Judges have consistently rejected his bail, citing concerns about potential obstruction and the possibility that Diddy might use his vast resources to evade justice. These rulings have left him in a vulnerable position, forced to endure the harsh realities of detention while preparing for a trial that could alter the course of his life. While the legal battles dominate the narrative, the conditions at the Metropolitan Detention Center are impossible to overlook. The facility has long faced criticism for overcrowding, unsanitary conditions, and substandard medical care. Inmates have described it as a place where hope fades, and even judges have expressed hesitation about sending defendants there. For someone like Diddy, who has been accustomed to luxury at every turn, the adjustment has been particularly grueling. Reports indicate he struggled with the food, lack of privacy, and the overall environment, a stark departure from the opulence he once enjoyed.
Not surprised with the decision. I'm surprised that Judge Subramanian entertained it. He held a 2-hour hearing, which we were covering live, and he issued a 5-page written order. Most other judges, including the 2 previous judges, to consider this issue summarily denied the bail motion. I think a lot of it stems from Judge Subramanian being a newer judge. This is a Biden appointee.
The high-profile nature of Diddy's case has added another layer of complexity to his already difficult situation. With the world closely monitoring every aspect of his time behind bars, the scrutiny has only intensified, fueling speculation and debate. Some argue that his celebrity status makes him a target, both inside the facility and in the court of public opinion. Others contend that his wealth and influence should secure him better treatment, sparking criticism from those who view his incarceration as a long overdue consequence. Beyond the physical and legal challenges, Diddy is also grappling with the emotional toll of being separated from his family. His children, who have always been a pillar of support, now find themselves witnessing their father in a way they never imagined. During a recent court appearance, Diddy shared a brief but poignant moment with one of his sons, silently mouthing, "You okay?" A gesture of reassurance amid the hardship. The moment, captured by onlookers, offered a rare glimpse into the personal cost this ordeal is having on both Diddy and his loved ones.
And the risk of flight was always going to be a tough argument for the government because obviously Combs voluntarily came to New York. He surrendered his passports through his lawyer. He could have fled after the March raids of his Miami and Los Angeles homes, but he didn't. He has access to 2 private jets. I think it was a tougher argument. I know the government made the argument, but clearly the best argument was the dangerousness and the witness tampering. They had much more evidence.
Diddy's challenges are far from over, with new allegations continuing to surface and further complicating his already overwhelming legal situation. One particularly startling claim comes from a former assistant who accuses Diddy of creating a toxic work environment marked by unreasonable demands and troubling incidents. According to the lawsuit, the assistant was often tasked with cleaning up after extravagant parties that frequently descended into chaos, leaving behind everything from broken furniture to disturbing messes. The assistant also alleges that hotel staff were regularly paid off to keep quiet about these events, adding to the sense of secrecy and control that purportedly characterized Diddy's inner circle.
On Combs, get another shot with Judge Subramanian? Or what will be his likelihood of success in a different court? Because there's currently a pending appeal at the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. So to get into all of this, I want to bring on former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani, friend of the show. Nima, thanks so much for coming on. First, before we even get into what he can do next, were you surprised?
The latest bombshell comes in the form of a lawsuit filed by LaTroy Grayson, who has come forward with a harrowing account of her experience at one of Diddy's notorious parties. Grayson, who won an all-expenses-paid trip to the event through a radio contest, claims that what started as a dream quickly turned into a nightmare. She alleges that upon arrival, she was separated from her companion, given drinks that made her feel unwell, and later woke up in a hospital with no memory of what had transpired. The disturbing details of her story, combined with her decision to speak out after all these years, signaled the growing wave of allegations against the former music mogul. Grayson's lawsuit targets not only Diddy but also several other parties involved, including the radio station and hotel that facilitated the contest. She argues that they were complicit in enabling the events that led to her trauma, raising significant questions about accountability and the culture surrounding Diddy's parties. Her choice to publicly identify herself, as opposed to remaining anonymous like many other accusers, adds credibility to her claims and distinguishes her from others in the expanding list of allegations.
Illustrating is this completely out of control party on a super yacht, including various celebrities, that when you read it, it kind of rings true. I mean, when you read it, it doesn't come off as being something that's completely unbelievable. You have to take into consideration that.
As the allegations against Diddy continue to mount, the story surrounding him becomes increasingly complex. On one hand, he is a man who built an empire from scratch, a self-made success story who inspired millions. On the other, the accusations paint a troubling picture of someone who may have used his power and influence to manipulate and control those around him. This stark contrast leaves many questioning who the real Diddy is and whether the man who once seemed unstoppable can ever recover from this fall from grace. For now, Diddy remains behind bars, awaiting a trial set to become one of the most closely followed court cases in recent memory. The stakes are immense, not just for him, but for everyone tied to his career, reputation, and freedom. The outcome of this case will have far-reaching implications. As days turn into weeks and weeks into months, one thing is certain: the story of Sean Combs is far from over. The world is watching, and the question remains: can he rise above the allegations and reclaim his legacy, or is this the final chapter in the story of one of modern entertainment's most influential figures? Stay tuned for more updates on this unfolding saga, and until next time, the discussion continues.